Hi, I'm Natasha Tracy for Breaking Bipolar at HealthyPlace.com, and this is Figaro. So, a few years back, when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I was very suicidal. And I was very suicidal for a long time. It took a very long time to find any kind of treatment that was even remotely successful. And so, during that time, I said to myself and others, I would rather die than go to a psych facility. I couldn't think of anything worse than going to a psychiatric hospital where my freedoms would be revoked and my life would be put in the charge of doctors. I thought that it was a torture chamber and the stuff of nightmares. That's what I really thought. But a few years later, I again was acutely suicidal. I was doing really, really badly. And a friend of mine told me I needed to go to the hospital. He was really concerned that I wasn't going to make it through the night. So I said no, of course, but he convinced me over time that I needed to go. So I went, and I in fact did check myself into a psychiatric hospital. And I learned quite a few things while staying at the psych hospital, but the main thing is this. They're not actually the stuff of nightmares. They're not actually torture chambers. While people do have various experiences with psychiatric facilities, some are quite negative, some are quite positive, in and of itself, the facility is not an evil thing. The doctors who work there aren't evil. The nurses aren't evil. There's no one there who wants to hurt you. Yes, are there exceptions to this rule, and are there horrible stories that come out of a handful of places? Yes, of course there are. But by and large, when you're talking about psych facilities, you're talking about facilities where people go to get better. And the people there do actually want you to get better. And so the main thing I learned is that your life is worth a trip to a psych hospital. What I said, saying that I would rather die than go to one of those places, was an ignorant statement on my part. It was something that I said because I had no experience with it. So what really matters and what someone should really think about is that everything needs to be tried when it comes to your life. And if you've reached the point where you're a danger to yourself or you're a danger to someone else, it absolutely makes sense to go to a psych facility, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a really negative thing. And the other thing is that it doesn't have to be a shameful thing. It's hard to admit that you need help. It's hard to admit that you need to go to the hospital. It's hard to admit that you've been in a hospital. However, it doesn't have to be. Hospitals are there to help you get better, and they can absolutely do that. They can keep you safe until your treatment has a chance to work, and I can honestly say that's what I needed. My name is Natasha Tracy, and this is Breaking Bipolar.